All right, well, it is 6:05 and it looks like we may have everyone who is going to join us this evening. So thank you for being online with us tonight. This is the official community meeting for rezoning petition 2023-094. My name is Nolan Groce. I'm with Urban Design Partners. We are representing the rezoning petitioner, Rosegate Holdings LLC. This rezoning petition has been filed with the City of Charlotte Planning Department for the properties located at 4000 Johnston Oehler Road. You can see on the screen our site as it exists today. So we'll go ahead and jump into this presentation. All right, we'll start off with a few general housekeeping items. So while going through the presentation, please utilize the chat box to ask any questions that you may have. Since we do have a smaller crowd at the end of the presentation, if you have any additional questions, feel free to unmute and we can have a more casual conversation. So at the end of the presentation, we'll go through anything that is in the chat box and we'll answer any questions that you might have for us this evening. All right, here is our site located at 4000 Johnston Oehler Road. So as I mentioned, we're just north of Johnston Oehler, across from Mallard Creek High School. We are located directly east of Rumble Street and to the south of I-485. Okay, so why are we here this evening? What exactly is zoning? Why are we having a community meeting? So zoning's the city's method of classifying land by usage. It promotes development in a smart and reliable fashion. So this chart shows current zoning districts under the City of Charlotte's Unified Development Ordinance. You have neighborhood place types such as Neighborhood 1 and Neighborhood 2. You have employment centers. You have manufacturing and logistics, industrial centers. You have special purpose and overlay districts, such as a transit-oriented development, TOD-UC. There are two types of rezoning requests. There are conventional rezonings, which are by right development, and there's also conditional rezonings. So in a conventional district, you would just be rezoning from, for example, from N1A to N1B. Our rezoning petition tonight, this is a conditional rezoning request. So for example, we're rezoning to N1F, that is Neighborhood 1F CD Conditional District. Some other relevant planning items before we get too far in that we need to take into account and mention to give everyone a little background. The first is the Charlotte 2040 Comprehensive Plan. For the last several years, the city has undertaken long-range planning efforts, including the Comprehensive Plan, the Unified Development Ordinance, and the 2040 Policy Map. The Comprehensive Plan is a living document that provides a policy framework to help guide cities' decision-making and investment. The Unified Development Ordinance. This simplified, consolidated, and updated development regulations, helping guide Charlotte in a unified, cohesive, single document, and aligns with the long-range policy work found in the 2040 plan. The 2040 policy map is also part of this. So the policy map is a future land use map that helps identify land uses that are most suitable for different types of development across our city. Right. Here we have an existing zoning map of the site and area around the site. So you can see our site is currently zoned in 1A, Neighborhood 1A. Abutting in the area, there's also some older zoning districts that were found under the previous zoning ordinance. For example, to the east of the site, the property is zoned R8 MF CD. That's a multifamily residential conditional district that allows up to 8 units an acre. You can also see UR2 and UR3, urban residential. Then, there's lots of multifamily, as well as Mallard Creek High School across the street and Carvian Middle School and High School across the street. Here's the Charlotte Future 2040 policy map, which I'd mentioned. Our site is identified as a neighborhood one place type. So it's currently zoned N1A, and we're requesting an N1F conditional district. So we are maintaining consistency with the adopted long-range plans. There's also neighborhood two place types in the area, as well as the campuses. Those are the schools located across the street. And there's a community activity center to the west. A little more information about our requested zoning district. Again, we're requesting an N1F rezoning to a conditional district. And there you can see again, the property located to the east is zoned R8 multifamily, UR3 to the north, and UR2 to the east. This gives you also a little bit better idea of what a neighborhood one place type looks like, the types of development and growth that are in those neighborhoods. The typical building in a neighborhood one place type is single family residential building up to 3 or 4 stories. Townhome style buildings typically have 4 to 6 buildings within one structure. So there's numerous considerations to account for when designing a site. As we've discussed already tonight, the City of Charlotte Unified Development Ordinance, the 2040 Plan and Policy Map, community input, such as this community meeting that we're having this evening, existing entitlements, what type of development is on the ground and being proposed in the area, in the existing neighborhoods, pedestrian safety, vehicular traffic patterns, as well as green space and natural areas. All right, getting into some of the details. Here's our site plan for rezoning petition 2023-094. This plan proposes up to 45 multifamily attached townhome units on 3.52 acres. We have one roadway connection proposed off of Johnston Oehler Road, as well as a stub connection to the property to the east. I'm going to jump ahead to a rendered site plan, which is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and get some more information. As I mentioned, we are providing a stub connection to the east with a connection off of Johnston Oehler Road. Each unit will have sidewalk access to the property frontage and the public right-of-way. We'll be providing a minimum of 250 square feet of open space for each unit. That's a minimum of just over 11,000 square feet. You can see a lot of green on the site plan on the screen. We are more than doubling the required open space. Each unit will have a driveway space as well as a one-car garage for two off-street parking spaces per unit. We're also providing several on-street spaces to the east of the site. We currently have 4 shown, as well as a large stormwater pond on the southwest portion of the site. Here we have some inspirational imagery and elevations of what could be developed on the site should this rezoning petition be approved. This specific design has not been conditioned, but again, it gives you an idea of the type of product that could be developed. We have provided several architectural conditions with the rezoning plan already, but we can get into those into a little bit more detail in a little bit if anyone has questions about that. So what exactly does the rezoning process entail? Tonight, October 4th, we're having our community meeting. The next step would be a potential public hearing date of November 20th, 2023. That would be followed by the zoning committee meeting on December 5th, 2023, with an ultimate city council decision on December 18th of 2023. Now, these dates are somewhat flexible aside from tonight's community meeting. For example, if we had to delay the public hearing or delay the zoning committee meeting for additional community involvement, coordinating with city council, coordinating with the zoning committee, those meetings dates could be pushed back a month or so at a time. So this is subject to change. So you can keep up with the agendas or contact us. We're happy to answer any questions about that process you may have, as well as city staff. So with that being said, let me pull up our Zoom window and see if we have any questions in the chat box. I know that was a fairly quick presentation, but wanted to give everyone a high-level overview of why we're here tonight, what exactly we're proposing to develop on this piece of property, and now we can open up the floor to have a conversation. If anyone has any questions, any comments, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I haven't seen anything come through the chat box quite yet. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute. We do have a smaller crowd, and share your thoughts with the group this evening. Tell you what, I'll go ahead and back to the site plan. So everyone can take another look at that in case you may have any questions when you look at it a little bit further. All right, well, still haven't had anything come through. Everyone should have received a community meeting notice with my email address, but I'll go ahead and put that back into the chat. If you think of anything over the coming weeks, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the project. I'll stay on for just a few more minutes in case anything comes to mind or anyone joins a little late this evening. But aside from that, we appreciate you being online with us. Appreciate you attending this community meeting. We hope you have a great evening. Have a good Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your week.